Hi friends, welcome you all. In this lecture, we're going to study several chemical methods that are used for preservation of food. And in our previous lecture, we have seen thermal processes as well as other physical processes that are used for preservation of food and other products. Preservative is a common term that you are all very familiar with that term. So, preservatives are substances that limit, slow down, or stop the growth of microorganism, and these includes various chemicals, and especially they stop the growth of bacteria, yeast, and mold. In case of preservatives, they present within the food and thus prevent the deterioration of good and food poisoning. Okay, so what preservative do? So they prevent entry and growth and development of pathogen, as well as they prevent the food from deterioration and poisoning. Okay, so they are used in cooked food, then wine, then cheese, in fruit juices, and margins. So chemical preservatives prevent microbial growth without loss of nutrient, but some of the people are sensitive to some chemical preservatives. So these are due to the chemical nature of this preservative. So they are allergic to some people, and chemical food preservative are the best and most effective for longer shelf life and are generally foolproof for preservation purpose. As far as chemical preservatives are concerned, so chemical substances are the artificial preservatives that stop or delay growth of bacteria and spoilage and its declaration. So these artificial preservatives can be added to food or spread on food, and several kinds of chemical can be used for food preservation, including propionic acid, then sorbic acid, then benzoic acid, and sulfur dioxide. So these acids are acceptable because they can metabolize by human body, and acids such as citric acid, acetic acid, that is popularly known as vinegar, and ascorbic acid are also known to confer protection against product deterioration. So as these preservatives, they are acidic in nature, so by adding these preservatives, the pH of that food environment it get lower, and due to that lower pH condition, most of the microbes they cannot grow at that low pH condition. In this way, this preservative act to preserve foods. In case of human beings, so these acids, they are easily metabolized or digest by our body, so they are not harmful for us. And in case of pH of the product is shifted to being low, so that is more acidic, where very few molds, yeast, and bacteria they are able to grow and multiply. So food additives such as benzoate, sorbate are quite commonly used in the fruit drink industry to protect against microbial spoilage, while nitrates are used in meat processing, and most commonly used preservatives are acids such as sorbic acid, benzoic acid, propionic acid, and these check mainly the growth of yeast as well as mold. Sorbic acid is used for preservation of syrups, then salads and jellies and some cakes, while benzoic acid is used for different kinds of beverages like margarine, apple cider, etc. And propionic acid is an integrated ingredient of bread and bakery products. Sulfur dioxide as a gas or a liquid is also used for some dried food preparations, then molasses and juice concentrates. Then ethylene oxide is used for spices, nuts, and dried foods, and some antibiotics can also be used depending upon local laws and ordinances. Then tetracycline, for example, is often used to preserve meat. Then storage and cooking normally eliminates the last remnant of antibiotic, and antioxidants are also the chemical food preservatives that can act as a free radical scavengers. And in this category, preservatives in the food comes with vitamin C, that is, then BHA, that is butylated hydroxylazole. And unlike natural food preservatives, some of the chemical food preservations are harmful. So as far as sulfur dioxide and nitrates, these are the example. And sulfur dioxide causes irritation in bronchial tubes, and nitrates are carcinogenic. So all these chemicals acts as an either antimicrobial or antioxidant or both. So they are either inhibit the activity or kill the bacteria, mold, insects and other microorganisms. So as far as antimicrobials they are concerned, so antimicrobial prevent growth of mold, then yeast, then bacteria, and antioxidant keep food from being rancid or developing black spot. So they suppress the reaction when food comes in contact with oxygen, then heat and some metals. They also prevent the loss of some essential amino acids and some vitamins, and these substances work on the principle of controlling water activity, pH and osmotic pressure of food. So this is overall regarding chemical methods, and in that preservatives play important role as far as preservation of food is concerned, and this preservative prevent growth of pathogenic microorganism, and thereby it renders food for safe to consumption for us. In case of water activity, we have studied in previous lecture that growth of microorganism is mostly dependent upon water content of that food, and water activity is nothing but the water content of that food, and water activity is most important factor in controlling rate of deterioration of food. So it is the availability of water of microbial or enzymic available for microbial, enzymatic or chemical activity that determines shelf life of food. So this water availability is measured as water activity, as we have already studied, and the water activity of milk is around 0.97. In case of honey it is 0.5 to 0.7, and in case of dried food it is found to be in case of 0.5 to 0.6. So food spoilage microorganisms in general are inhibited in food where water activity is below 0.6. However, the pH of the food is less than 13.6. So microorganisms are inhibited when the water activity is below 0.85. So the water activity values for inhibition of some of the microorganisms, so these are water activities for some of the microorganisms to be inhibited, and in that Clostridium botulinum has water activity. It is again highest water activity, you can see 0.97. Then Escherichia coli it is almost 0.97. Then for Bacillus cereus it is 0.95, and for Staphylococcus aureus it is 0.86. So generally intermediate moisture food that are categorized IFMs possesses water activities that range from 0.6 to 0.85, and this enables food to be stable at room temperature. So the processes of water activities that range from 0.6 to we have studied earlier, okay, sorry. So binding of the water that preserves intermediate moisture food, for example cookies, cakes and breads. So this reduces availability of water for deteriorative reactions, and water is immobilized by adding permissible humectant additives such as glycerol, then glycols, then sorbitols, then sugars, then salts. So the addition of some of the chemical inhibit microbial growth in foods, and these chemicals include not only classified as preservatives, but there are some salts, sugars, wood, smoke, and some species also inhibit growth of microorganisms. So here these are different kinds of types artificial chemical food preservatives. So they are generally grouped as antimicrobial agent, then antioxidant and chelating agent. So in antimicrobial category, the benzoate, sodium benzoate, then sorbate and nitrate, they are generally used. And in case of antioxidant, it includes sulfides, then vitamin E, then vitamin C, and butylated hydroxybutolene, they are commonly used. And chelating agents like disodium ethanol diamidine acid, that is EDTA. So it is popularly known as chelating agent. So it is called as disodium ethylene diamine acetic acid. Okay, and polyphosphate and citric acid. So overall these are examples of various kinds of groups of artificial and chemical food preservatives. So in case there are some common preservatives here we can study. So in that nitrates and nitrites are there. So nitrates converted to nitric acid which form soluble radical in meat, and nitrates have inhibitory action against Clostridium botulinum in meat products but from carcinogenic nitrosamine. So it is also for used to preserve meat such as sausage, then ham, then bacon, then beef, etc. So the side effects are allergy, asthma, nausea, vomiting, headache, and sodium nitrate can be converted into nitric acid by body and cause cancer. So this is problematic as far as our body is concerned. So it causes several allergic reactions like asthma, nausea, vomiting, headache, and further it leads to cancer causing agents. Then in case of sulfides, it includes sulfur dioxide and metabisulfite. So sulfides from sulfurous acid, which is active antimicrobial compound and can kill microbial cells by reduction of sulfide linkage, then formation of carbonyl compounds and inhibiting respiratory mechanism. So these are used to prevent fungal spoilage and browning of peeled fruits as well as vegetables. And the commonly used levels of sulfide, it is almost 0.005 to 0.2%. This is used in very trace concentrations, and the side effects are allergy, asthma, nausea, vomiting, as well as joint pain and palpitation and headache. So these are abnormal conditions seen in case of human body. And in case of sodium benzoate or benzoic acid, they are the most effective against yeast as well as mold and are used at a concentration of 2.2%. And the action of benzoate against microorganisms are by inhibiting enzyme necessary for oxidative phosphorylation and inhibiting membrane protein function, and also by destroying membrane potential. So they are added to carbonated drinks in case of flours, pickles, then fruit purses and fruit purries and fruit juices. Again, these are allergic and they are also carcinogenic. In case of propionates, so calcium and sodium propionate are effective against mold as well as bacteria, and they are used as 0.1 to 0.2%, but not effective against yeast at this concentration. And the inhibitory action is due to cytoplasma acidification and destabilization of membrane proton gradient. Then sorbate, in case of sorbate, it is sodium and calcium or potassium salt is used at a concentration of 0.05 to 0.2%, and it is more effective against yeast as well as molds than bacteria, and activity of sorbic acid increases as pH decreases. So sorbic acid and its salt are tasteless and odorless when used at levels below 0.3, and it is used in non-alcoholic drinks and alcoholic drinks, processed vegetables as well as fruits and dairy desserts. Then in case of butylated hydroxytoluene, that is called as BHT, and butylated hydroxynosol, that is called as BHA, they serve as an antioxidant that prevents the oxidation of fats, and that causes rancidity, and they are used in preservation of fresh meat as well as pork, then sausages, then potato chips and crackers, then beers, then baked goods and drink powder, then dry cereals as well as frozen pizza. So these compounds have several side effects and they may cause cancer and liver diseases. Then in case of monoglycerides and diglycerides, so they are used as a preservative for cookies, then cakes, then pies, bread, then peanut butter, then roasted nuts, then shortening and margarine, and they cause cancer as well as some birth defects. In case of salts and sugars, as we have already studied, so these are homemade preservatives we can use to preserve many kinds of foods like jam, jellies as well as pickles, and these are traditionally used preservatives, and these preservatives act by increasing osmotic pressure and salt and sugar have long been used as an effective means of extending shelf life of various products as those solute bind water. So leaving less water available for growth of microorganism. So essentially the water activity of product is reduced, and since most of the microorganisms require high water activity, they are unable to survive. So these are several examples of commonly used preservatives in different kinds of foods. So in case of sorbic acid and sorbates, these are mostly used in cheese, then wines, then dried fruits, then fruit porridge and trimmings. In case of benzoic acid and benzoates, they are used in pickle vegetables, in jams and jellies, low in carbohydrate and fruits, and semi-preserved fish products and sauces. In case of sulfur dioxide and sulfides, they are inhibit bacterial growth in dried fruits and canned fruit and wine, as well as they have antioxidant properties, and natamycin, which is used in surface treatment of cheese and sausages. And in case of nitrates and nitrites, they employ in the preparation of meat. In case they are used in preparation of ham, then sausage, etc., to prevent growth of Clostridium botulinum. So this is overall regarding chemical preservation of food. So in that we have covered different kinds of preservative, their role in preservation of food, and in this way I think this topic is finished. So in next lecture we're going to see another topic. Thanks for the